for just a few minutes. How many of you guys are from the age of 18 to, let's say, 54? Would you stand to your feet? 18 to 50. Don't you get hurt. Sit down. 18 to 54. Okay. That's a good majority of people that are here tonight, right? Yeah. That's a good majority of people that are here tonight. Okay, you can be seated. Thank you for serving. How many are 55 and overs? Would you stand on your feet with me? Becky, get up. Becky, get up. Oh, I'm sorry. Woo! That's a pretty good representation, right? Don't you think? That's about just a little over, just a little over half and half. That's pretty amazing. Amen. You can be seated. Thank you for standing. And we don't have any youth here tonight, really. My daughter got Braxton and Ty back there. But if you're under the age of 18, stand up. Amy, you're such a lie. You got shoes that are older than 18. Amen. That's awesome. Huh? More than I thought, exactly. That's cool. Okay, you can be seated. Thank you for standing. I just want to share with you kind of what we have around here. We have a great mixture of ages. Amen. We don't have just a bunch of young kids. We don't have a bunch of old people. We have everybody. You know? And I just want to share that with you in just a minute. That we have a great opportunity. And what I'm preaching tonight, I'm not preaching about fasting tonight. I convicted myself enough today, and I don't want to go through that again. And so, as I belch up chicken, I don't want to talk about fasting. And so I want to talk about, this is our moment. This is our moment. I've been preaching here for 7 years about doing things. It's taken me longer than I really thought it would take me to get to where we're at right now. It's taken me a long time to get to where we're at. It's taken me 7 years where I thought it would take us about 2.5 to get to. And that's because it was my timing, not God's timing. That's okay. But I look around us and I look around us and I see that we are getting there. And I'm so thankful for the age discrepancy. If you look at Wednesday nights, and some of you that are here on Wednesday nights, and that little 4-week project is now taking 12. And so we are, on Wednesday night, you come in here, and there's from the age of 2 to the age of 80, what is Sister Phyllis, 80, Crosswell? 82 or 3, something in that area? Okay. We have an 80-year discrepancy. It's amazing. Last Wednesday night, there was 120 people on campus. Last Wednesday. That's from little kids up. That's amazing. On a Wednesday night, that we have 120 people on campus. That's crazy to me. It's amazing what God has done, and I want to share just a few things with you that God is really moving in this place, and we can go do some great things. This is our moment. This is our opportunity. Please don't let this window of opportunity close, and we stay at 1100 North University. That makes me want to throw up. That makes me sick at my stomach. Not that I hate, this is where I grew up. I'm not hating on where I grew up. But what I'm saying is that this is our moment and opportunity to do something greater than we've ever done. Now, I'm gonna brag on Landon a little bit. Is that okay if I brag on Landon? How many like Landon? That's about 4 people that really like him. 4 people that really like him. They really like Lindsay. But they tell me, okay, so I really like him. So here's the deal. We had a major issue Wednesday. Matthew Breed. I love that kid, but I want to kill that kid. I absolutely love him, but I lost my temper with him Wednesday. And I yanked him up when I went to his babysitter or caretaker, and he needed to straighten up. I lost my temper with it. I just did. Can I just be transparent? Go ahead. I didn't handle it correctly. I get a text, I get a call from Landon. Hey, would it be all right if if I invite Dylan and Matthew to spend the weekend with us. And I felt about that big. Felt about that big. And so Matthew Breed and Dylan Breed spent the weekend with Lindsay and Landon. And they kind of just poured some things into him, just poured some love into him. And I'm not saying that he's going to be the model citizen Wednesday. I'm not saying that I'm going to have to want to kill him again Wednesday. I don't know. But at least he'll have a nice haircut, right? Landon took him and he gave him haircuts and let him play video games, let him hang out at the house. Let them just have fun. Let them know that there's another way to live besides the way they live. Now, to me, that's pretty awesome.
Amen.
To me, that's pretty awesome. Because I was thinking about it. I'm going to brag on Kim a little bit. She didn't know I was going to brag on her, but I'm going to brag on her. Kim Bellis is the model van driver. I don't know how she does it. And my wife as well. They are absolutely the best. The best. Kim Bellis has this little group of girls that just latch onto her. They're the sisters. And we go to Randolph Drive, and they go to Randolph Drive, and they do Hot Dog Tuesdays. And Kim, they just love her. They flock to her. If you'll ever notice, when Kim's here, they'll flock to her. They just go to her like crazy because she pours out love onto them. And she pours out love onto them. And even when she wants to kill them, she pours out love onto them. And even when they won't sit down, she pours out love onto them. When they won't sit down, she still goes, Andy, you know we're getting ice cream. And so we're still, and I love that. Thank you. Thank you. And there's a Doug Graham. Do you anybody know who Doug Graham is? There's an Alexis and a Buggy and a Gabe. They come to church here. His name's actually Angelo, but they call him Buggy. And so they run to Doug. They run to him because Doug loves them, and Doug pours out love on them. And he cares about them, and he wants to make sure they're okay and getting up to eat and all that stuff. And if you guys haven't noticed that Brother Doug has been helping you get in with our breakfast, and I'm so thankful for him and Michael doing that. And they just do a great job with that. I appreciate them. It's just something else I don't have to do. And I'm so glad. I'm so thankful. Going home? Yeah. That's good. I mean, I understand. Y'all be praying for Lisa because she's got that migraine thing going on. So, number 3 thing, I want to brag on my wife. My wife, this morning, let me just share what she did this morning. My wife drove a church van this morning. She taught a Sunday school class. She did nursery. And she sang congregational songs. And then she drove a van home. That's what she did this morning. She's like, how big deal? Big deal. But it is a big deal. It is a big deal. And I'm going to brag on my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law. Every Wednesday, like clockwork, they're here fixing food for Wednesday night. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to do it. All I have to do is go pick up the stuff and put it back there and hope the mice don't get in. Okay? That's what I have to do. And I have to go make sure that they have everything that they need, but they take care of everything. They clean up. I don't have to clean up. I don't have to do any of that stuff. They do everything, and they fix food for all those kids that come. They clean up. They serve them, and I thank you, Becky, and I thank you, Mama. I appreciate that. And I love you. I appreciate what you guys do. I said all that to say this. And Stephen, can I talk about Stephen? Stephen, how many know who Chris is? Chris is about this tall, about this wide. Chris. He's like 17 hot dogs. Everybody have hot dogs. He's a great kid. And Stephen yanks him up and looks at him and says, "You're my favorite kid." And he goes, "I can see why." I love that kid. I can see why. I love that kid. And you would never know that his brother left to go live with his dad. His sister and him moved out of their house and moved in with their grandparents. You would never know that. He's a great kid. When his brother was being baptized in the 15-foot pool that I put over here, when his brother was being baptized, he's back in the pew just crying. He said, I'm so proud of him. It breaks your heart. It's so awesome. It's so awesome. I just want to tell you what's going on around here. Amen? Amen. Yes. Doris and Mark and Suzanne and Stephanie and Janice and, help me, Carolyn and her sister and all those that do the free meal, the community outreach lunch on the last Friday, Monday of every, Friday of every month. Community outreach, that they served 82 people yesterday, chili, and they worked hard and Doris messed her feet up trying to serve people. I'm so thankful for you. That's things I don't have to do. I'm so thankful for you. Tuesdays, I gotta brag on Kim again. Is it okay? I'm going to anyway. Hot Dog Tuesdays. No one ever remembers. She always has to remind me. Hot Dog Tuesdays. You know what that is? We go to Randolph Drive and give out hot dogs and play with kids for an hour and a half. But her husband, Andy, loads the tables, makes the hot dogs, has everything ready to go, puts out the stuff, he's ready to go, man. Andy's in there, Andy's doing it, man. He is. And those kids love him. They love Brother Andy. They think that because he's like, did you already have a drink? I don't know if you can have another one, you know? And he's like, he's tight with the drinks, man. He's got it, okay? Because he'll find a can laying around. Is this your drink? And so again, the Marine thing comes out in him. But I'm just telling you that he is awesome. So I'm going to share with you what's going on around here. Suzanne, I appreciate you. I thank you. I thank you for your hard work and your hard labor, and I thank you for everything that you do. I really do. I thank you for all the stuff that you guys are doing around here. For Brother Michael is leading and helping lead our men's group, and for everybody that does everything that they do around here. I just want to say thank you for everything that you guys do. And you say, well, I don't do anything. Get involved in one of the things I just mentioned. There's Remnant you can get involved with. They do everything. I don't know what they don't do. They're involved in everything. It's like every time I turn around, there's somebody from Remnant there. Like, hey, how are you? And so they do everything. I'm glad. I'm glad. Why? Because we need it. I say all that to say this, and I know I'm prolonging this, but I don't mean to, but I want to share this with you. Listen. This is our moment. It's so easy for you to get so focused on what you don't do. This church doesn't do anything. Are you crazy? I can't keep up. I can't even make it to the nursing home services all the time. I can't even make it to the stuff that we do. Because we do something, there's like something going on every night. And if you're not involved, please get involved. If you're not involved, it's because you don't want to be. Amen? You can blame it any better you want to. It's because you don't want to be. Because there's always a place for everybody. But I'm going to talk to two stories of two men that came from obscurity to greatness. And it's going to be very familiar to you. But I want to share with you, this is our moment. This is our time to do what God has called us to do. I sit on our district board. What is a district board? Big deal, right? In the state of Oklahoma, there's a board of the Pentecostal Church of God, and I'm one of the presbyters, so I'm one of the board members. I'm not an executive board member, I'm just a board member, okay? The executive board members are the finance director, the district presbyter, the bishop, the secretary, and the missions guy, okay? Those are our executives. I'm not one of those guys, thank God, because I'm not like that. And so I'm just a board member. I'm one vote out of 8, okay? And so I sit on a board, and so I hear all the stuff that goes on around every other church in the state of Oklahoma. Okay? Can I share with you that you are blessed?
Amen.
Beyond measure. The average church size of Pentecostal Church of God in Oklahoma is under 20. Under 20 people. The Pentecostal Church of God, most churches of the Pentecostal Church of God in the state of Oklahoma are under 20 people. That's scary. That was eye-opening to me. In 2006, when I was ordained, we had 88 churches. We now have 49. 49. Can I tell you why? Because we don't have Landon Joneses filling pulpits. And so if nobody will fill the church sits empty, the people scatter, and the church gets sold. That's what happens. So as a board member in the Pentecostal Church of God, I sit there and I hear these heartbreaking stories of these men who had vision of what God had laid on their heart to do, but for whatever reason it happened that the people that they had, they couldn't attract the people. Can I share another reason? This is going to sound really bad, but the average age of our pastors is 75 years old. In the state of Oklahoma, 75 years old. Think about it. Pastor Turner is pastoring a church in Durant, and he's 88. Brother Ledbetter is in Pauls Valley, and he's 86 or 7. Brother Owens at Tecumseh is 84 or 5. I'm just pointing it out to you. Brother Dennis Stone is resigning his church and is retiring, and at the age of, what, how old is he? 65. 65, and he's retiring, but that's another church that's coming open. And we don't have a young man to put in it. It's a beautiful church. Yeah. It's a beautiful church. We don't have a young pastor to put in it. We have older men. Please don't misunderstand me. I need you. I just bragged on Raymond. I need you. I don't want to do everything that I don't need you, and I don't ever care about you or anything like that. I don't care what anybody says. You know, I preach a lot about the 4:14 window because that's when 85% of people give their life to Christ. You ought to feel privileged if you were over the age of 14 or 15 when you gave your life to Christ because you made the top 15%, right? I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about just that's the average. Age 4 to 14, people get their first experience with Christ. I heard somebody saying something about it the other day. Tried to belittle me about it. Now, please don't listen to that trash. I'm not saying that I don't need you. I don't care about you. I do need you. I do care about you. I need everybody. We need everybody to be here. I just want to share with you that we have an opportunity. An opportunity. Abraham, get out from where everything you know and go to a place that you don't know where you're going. That's hard to do. But we're talking about Abraham for just a minute. Abraham, get away from the familiar things. Go get out of the comfortable and go to the uncomfortable. I talked about that this morning for a little bit. About it's comfortable to eat chicken when I could be fasting, right? It's comfortable to go to Kentucky Fried Chicken and eat chicken nuggets. Or whatever those things are. What is it called? That's it. Okay? And it's easy to go to... I loved it when Norma was over the deli and Walmart because they would actually fill the cup and the lid. I feel like I get cheated if I don't get my lid full of popcorn chicken. And I ate it. They just fill up the cup, put a lid on. I said, "There's a reason that lid is common, baby." Okay, so listen. I know there's only 12 of them, but it's still that's about 12 pieces of chicken. But I know how it's uncomfortable to do those things. Stephen, you know I'm preaching right. Okay. And so it's uncomfortable to do those things. But we have a great opportunity. Anybody can stay where it's comfortable. Oh, it's so nice. Listen, I am going to tell myself again. I was watching, I don't even know who was on, I was watching football and I fell asleep for a little bit. I guess the Browns got beat, I don't know. But anyway, okay, I don't care. And so I woke up and I thought to myself, man, we have church in like 4 hours. Nobody else does that, right? But me. Okay? And I thought, man, I got church in 4 hours. I can lay here. I have a great couch with 2 recliners on either side, and I don't even have to do anything but push a button and they recline. And I have a thing that raises my head up, so when I'm reclined, my head is up. It's great. It's awesome. Amen? I can sleep there. It's nice. It's fantastic. But I can stay there and be comfortable. Or I could come to church and worship. Amen? Amen. And when I get to church, I find myself going, I'm glad I came to church. You know? I'm glad I didn't give in to my flesh. And I let my spirit rise up in me. And I let my spirit come on. I let my spirit come inside of me. And I ask God to touch us and move and minister in us. But Abram, it's been easy for him to be comfortable. It's easy. It's easy to stay where it's comfortable, but it takes somebody extraordinary to take on a challenge from God. Right. Are you extraordinary? What's extraordinary? How do you spell extraordinary? Extraordinary. Are you extraordinary or are you extraordinary? Which are you? I'm extraordinary. I'm not just ordinary, plain old Jeff. I feel like God has given me abilities to be extraordinary. And I want to be extraordinary. And so what I'm asking you to do tonight is this. I want you to look at yourself in the mirror. Yourself in the mirror. And ask yourself, am I just a regular Joe? Or has God called me because this is our moment? Am I just somebody that's just wasting away and wasting time? Or has God called me to be something greater? Because Abraham, he could have stayed where he was at and been comfortable at his mom and dad's house with his wife, his half-sister, because he's a freak. And so he could have stayed there. Or he could do what God has called him to do. And it's hard to do sometimes what God has called you to do. Amen? Amen. It's hard sometimes to do things with excellence when it's easy to do it just mediocre. Because when you try to do things with excellence, you ruffle feathers of the people you're trying to push. You do. Because you say, this is not good enough anymore. It was good enough, but now it's not good enough. So we have to push it forward. Abraham left everything behind and he followed a promise from God. I cannot wait to follow the promise of God. Amen. I cannot wait to be out to where we can have room to breathe. I cannot wait to be out to where we're going to have a great, listen, I want you to know what you guys are about to do. You guys are about to embark on, it's not actually a mega church, but for this area it will be. You are about to open up a church that has never been opened up in this area. Amen. Okay. I know you say amen, but you don't really get it. Okay. You're about to embark on something that this area has never seen and never done. You're about to step into a promise that God has promised us a long time ago, and it is going to be something different than this city has ever seen and ever done. And it's going to be different than anything you've ever been part of, because we grew up in this little church and it's all we know is the pews from 1977 and the red carpet, and that's what we know. We know the border. Stephen has not taken down yet, and he lied, said he was going to. We know the border. We know those things. We know those things, and those things are comfortable. How many know that when you walk into this church and you smell that smell of mold, it's comforting? When you walk down the hall and you hope God please don't let me fall for it. It's comforting because it's familiar. When you walk into the kitchen, it's so not set up to be a kitchen. And you sit there and you go, okay, whatever. And you walk in there and it's so familiar. And it's so comfortable. And it's so easy. You walk in and you see the same faces that you've seen for years. It's comfortable. But can I share with you that that's not what God has called us into? It is my prayer that people from all areas come to that church and not just from Seminole. I believe that God has strategically placed us to where we're not just a Seminole church, but we're a area-wide church. I want to be an area-wide church. I'm just simply a Seminole church. I love Seminole. This is my home. But when you're out there and you're in the neighborhoods of Barnum, Strother, Seminole, and you're in those areas, Butner, whatever else out there. When you're out there in those areas And God has strategically placed you. And you'll notice it's on a hill. Funny how that worked. Funny how that worked. Anybody can stay where it's comfortable. It takes somebody extraordinary to take on the challenge of God. Abraham left everything behind and followed the promise of God. God has promised you great things if you'll simply follow Him. And that's, when I say simply follow Him, that's a mouthful, isn't it? Yeah. To simply follow Him means to leave everything else behind. Wow. To simply follow Christ means I got to not follow after what I want sometimes. And it's so hard to pastor now because you have people have attitudes. You know, notice that people have attitudes? Because when you preach against something that they like, they say, well, I have a right to do that. Well, you do. You do have a right to do that. But you're not, whatever, he's not wearing Billy's. Okay, and so you have a right to do that. You can do whatever you want. But can you follow Him and do that? Can you, well, Pastor, can I cuss? You have a right to do whatever you want to do. But can you follow Him in that? I'm just saying, I'm not asking for amens, I'm just saying. Okay? Pastor, I have a right to sleep with my girlfriend. Nope. But can you follow Him? Sleep with your girlfriend. But Pastor, you don't understand. If we get married, one of us loses our check. What's your soul worth? Let me tell you this. I've never been in that situation. That's a hard situation to be in. It's a hard situation to be in. When we went to see Samson at the play Samson in where we went, Branson, I loved how they portrayed, what's her place? That's her? I'm trying to learn the Bible stories. I love how they portrayed her. As she had to make a decision because she was alone. And she was a woman alone. And she had to make a decision. Do I take the money to support myself and to make sure I have a future, or do I betray the guy who I say I love and the man of God? So she had a decision to make. Do I take the money and support myself, or do I betray the man of God? And some of us sometimes have to make decisions we don't like to make. And they're hard decisions. Do I do what I know is right, or do I protect myself? And so I don't really ever get on to, I don't really say, you better do that, because I've never been in that situation. I know what the Bible says about it. I know what we're supposed to do according to Scripture, and I can share that with you. But I've never been in the situation to where I had to make that call. So it's tough, right? But not everybody makes the right decision. Sometimes we make the wrong decisions. God promised us great things if we'll simply follow Him. That's what I mean. That's hard sometimes to follow Him because we have to do what He says in order to follow Him. We can't do what we want to follow Him. We have to do what He says to follow Him. Abraham left everything and followed Him. He followed a promise from God. I promise you this: if you'll chase after Him, you'll find Him. If you call after Him, He'll hear you. If you refuse to be left behind, He won't leave you behind. The only way you're going to be left behind is if you simply want to be left behind, because He will not leave you behind if you're calling after Him. God is calling for you to follow after Him. He's calling for you. He's saying, would you please follow after me? Please follow. He's calling to us and said, please follow me. Please follow after us. He is calling for a generation to leave their Father's house and change the world. I believe that with all my heart. He's calling for a generation to leave their Father's house to go change the world. What do you mean by He's leaving His Father's house? Leave behind everything that you've been taught. Because you understand, Abraham's dad was a moon worshiper. He didn't know anything about God. And Abraham didn't know anything about God. So everything he was taught, this gets on my nerves worse than anything, is when people say, life's hard, and it's always going to be hard, so you need to get up, grow up, get over it. Life is hard sometimes, but it's not always hard. If I'll follow after Christ, Christ will lead my steps. But people, they throw that on their kids. Get all you can. Get all you can. Get all you can because get it from the man. And they throw that junk on their kids. And so the kids grow up believing that junk. And they pass it on and pass it on and pass it on. When God is saying, forget that, come follow me and let me show you what I'll do for you. But here's our problem. We have them an hour and a half a week. Maybe 2.5 if they come to Sunday school. We have them for an hour and a half, maybe 2.5 hours a week. And we try to tell them about God and the good things of God. And we try to tell this generation coming up, we try to tell them what God will do for them. And they pray for things and it doesn't happen. And they say, you're a liar. Come on now. No. No, God's not a genie in a bottle. You have to follow Him. You have to live for Him. He's calling for a generation to leave their father's houses and change the world. I know you heard this from a lot of people, and people have preached this, and this generation is awesome. Woo, yeah. And we get them all hyped up, and then we send them home to the same stuff. And we don't put anything in their hand. And say, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to teach you how to be a leader. I'm going to teach you what it means to be a leader. I'm going to show you what it is. Sometimes you have to make hard decisions. And this hard decision has to be based on the Word of God. And it can be based on how you feel. It has to be based on the Word of God. You might as well say amen to that because that's the truth. And it can't be based on how you feel about a situation. It's got to be based on the Word of God. What does the Word of God say about it? Not on how I feel about it, not on my political party feels about it, not how my mom and dad feel about it, my wife and my husband, whatever, feel about it. But how does God feel about it? What does He say about it? I know you've heard it before where people have said, oh, the world changes, and they never mean it. They're just trying to get somebody to say amen. But hear me. I believe it. I believe that God has called us, because listen, I don't know if you know this or not, but the clock is ticking. Jesus is coming soon, morning or night or noon. Many are going to meet their doom. Trumpet's going to sound. All the dead's going to rise. Christ will be in the skies, going where no one dies. Heavenward bound. I'm just telling you, we're clicking this thing down. And I've heard it all my life, Brother Jeff. I know you have. I've been in church too all my life. I understand that. I know you heard it, but I really believe that this thing's winding down. I don't know how we can last very much longer. I don't feel at home in this place anymore. I don't know if I'm just the only one. But everything I've ever known to be good is bad. Everything I've ever heard to be bad is good. Everything's upside down. Everything's backwards. It's crazy. To be a good citizen doesn't matter anymore. I know it doesn't matter. Until we really believe that we're world changers, we'll always be the same height. Until we really believe that Landon and Lindsay and Abby and Olivia are world changers. Yes, amen. They'll always be the same height. Till we really believe that Daniel's going to do something great for God. Amen. His generation. Till we really believe it. And maybe Delaney. If we really believe it, do you believe it? Until we really believe that we are world changers, it's always going to be the same height. Until God becomes more real to you than what you want to do. What do you want to do? I don't know. Well, what does God want you to do? I don't know. Find out. You'll always be in the hype and never in His will. You never know what God wants you to do. Abraham was 75 years old. He wasn't the right age, was he? He's too old to go start something new. He's too old to do something different. No. He's living with his parents. That's all I'm going to say about that. He's married to his half-sister. We'll leave that alone. He left with nothing when he left his parents' house. He left with nothing but a promise. But he left. He left. He left with nothing. God will call you to face the world with nothing but a promise and His Word. When I began to pastor this church, we had 35 people. 35 people. And a vision. And a promise. and a pastor going, I don't know if I want to do this or not. God's honest truth. Full disclosure. For the promise, and I really didn't know if this is what I wanted to do or not. Everybody else could leave. It'd be a great opportunity for me to go do something else. Pastor was leaving, great opportunity to use that as an excuse to go do something else. Pastor was retiring. I could go find another ministry to go help and not have to worry about any of this. Could show up late and leave early. Could not pray. Could not fast. Could give when I felt like it or if I had the money. Come on now. But here's the deal. I couldn't make myself do it. I had already made plans to leave that summer. After that summer, I had already decided we didn't know what we were going to do. We just knew we weren't going to be here because I couldn't do what I was doing anymore. Just couldn't do it. Now, when I was elected pastor here, I had no official title of anything. Nothing. I wasn't the associate pastor. I wasn't the official youth pastor. I wasn't the official music director. I wasn't officially anything. I had no ties. I wasn't a board member. I wasn't anything. I was a guy who sat in the third row every Sunday, played music, did what I was supposed to do, and loved God. And I went Wednesday night and picked up kids, and me and Amy, Kevin, and whoever else at that time, we just worked ourselves to death and thought we knew what we were doing. And no, I didn't. But that's what we did. I had no official tie to anything. I could have just walked away and it wouldn't have mattered. There was no official cutting loose of anything. But God had other ideas. And God had other plans. And when Pastor resigned and I began to weep, I was like, oh my goodness. God, I don't want to do this. It wasn't a Garden of Gethsemane moment because I wasn't bleeding great drops of blood. But it was almost one of those deals where, Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. My wife was amening that. Okay? And so, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me, but nevertheless, not my will, but your will be done. And so the 35 began to grow. 35 began to be 70, and it became 140. And right now we're kind of plateaued because we have no room for anybody else. We have no room in the church. There's no seating. I don't know if you noticed on Sunday morning, but it's full. It's full. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with Him. And I'm not Mr. Wonderful, and I get it, and I understand that. But I just want to share with you this, that it wasn't the easy choice, but it was the right choice. And it's been hard. A lot of times it's been hard. A lot of times it's been hard. But God has blessed us. Amen? Amen. God continues to bless us. Let's go on. Let's go on with Moses. No, I'm not done with this yet. Sometimes God will make you face the world with nothing but a promise and His Word. I had a promise and I had His Word. We had 35 people. Let's go do it. I think we had $4,000 in the bank or something, all total something. I don't know what it was. It wasn't much. But all the bills were paid. Everything was good. And it was good. We have a little bit more than that now. A few more people than that now. Because God has set us up for victory. Amen?
Amen.
Listen, if God will call Him, He'll call you. If God will bless Him, He'll bless you. God has called you. Will you follow Him? Moses was the wrong color. He had on the wrong clothes. His blanket gave him away in the basket because it was a Hebrew blanket. He was from the wrong side of the river, if you will. He was from the wrong family. He was a Hebrew living in an Egyptian world. Everything was against Moses. Everything. The calling of God was on his life from his birth. His mother looked at him and said, "It's a goodly child. I'm not killing him." Nursed him as long as she could. Put him in a basket and let him go. I just want to... Okay, how many have children here? Not here, but you have children. How many people here have children? Okay, that's better. Okay. I want you to think of your baby. 2 years old, or not 2 years old, a few months old. Put them in the basket. Little rivers flowing. Let them go. I don't think so. I don't think so. Now let's put it in the Nile. Let's say now we're putting them in the Nile River where there's crocodiles. Now there's crocodiles. There's snakes. There's all these things that can eat it. And you put it in a basket, put some slime around it so it won't leak. Okay? Whatever. And you put it in the flags or the cattails and you let it go. Let the current take it. Really? I don't know about that. I wouldn't do that to my 16-year-old. Because that's not going to end well. I can't imagine what she had to go through to do that. And God took control of that basket, and God put that basket exactly where it needed to be. And exactly at the time it needed to be there. She let it go at the right time, but God knew where that basket needed to go. So the calling of God was on his life from his birth. Even in the palace of Pharaoh, he was still had the calling of God on his life. In the backside of the desert, God spoke to him. This is our moment. God has a plan for us. But we simply have to follow him. Simply follow him. In Psalm 127, if you'll throw that up there for me, Brother Ethan. I can't remember, there's not very many verses in it. Unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build it. Unless the Lord guards the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. Go to the next one. It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he gives his beloved sleep. Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord. The fruit of the womb is a reward. Like arrows in the hand of the warrior, so are the children of one's youth. Stop right there. Temple of Praise, look at me. I read this scripture and it fires me up. It's not talking about just my children. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior, so are the children of one's youth. Now, I know I'm a youth pastor at heart. I got told the other day that I'm too youth-minded. I'm just telling you, this is the stuff I face. Okay, I'm just telling you. Okay, I'm too youth-minded. I don't care anything about older people. All I care is about youth. Shut up. Okay, so listen, I don't have time for that mess. But I just want to tell you, like arrows in the hand of a warrior, so are the children of one's youth. We have 80-something kids that come to church here on Wednesday night. They are like arrows in the hands of this church. Come on. See, I start preaching stuff like this and everybody goes, yeah, that's good. But like arrows in the hand of a warrior, so are the children of one's youth. Yep. I know they're talking about your kids and your youth and your kids. I got it. But I know what God has spoken to me is this, that we have 80-something arrows to shoot at the devil every week. 80-something arrows. Go to verse 5. Is there a verse 5? I can't remember. Okay. Happy is the man who has his quiver full of them. Yeah. They shall not be ashamed, but shall speak with their enemies in the gate. Even when I want to kill Matthew Breed, he's an arrow. Even when I want to pull his head off with that nice haircut he's got. Okay? Even then, God has placed him in our quiver as an attack to the devil. Because, listen, if we have them, the devil can't have them. That's right. Come on, man. Get with me. If I can teach them about Jesus and I can change their life, then the devil can't have them. That's 80-something kids that the devil can't have. And I want you to listen to me. Listen. There's a book that I'm teaching in our college and career class. It's a book about leadership. And because I'm going to pour into leadership into them because I need some leaders. Okay, and so what I'm going to pour into them is this. And there's a quote in there. It said, even though an introverted person will affect 10,000 people in their life. Even the person that sits at home and watches TV and all they do is go to Walmart when they're at Cheetos. Okay? And so that person will still affect 10,000 people in their life. So if I have 80, if I have 80 that I can affect their lives, how many lives are they going to infect? Come on, somebody. Can you tell me, just to help me a minute, can you get excited about that just a little bit? Can you just at least give me a little head nod, a Baptist head nod or something? That we have 80 plus people to affect somebody in their life. That they don't have to live like that all their lives. That they can have a nice home and a nice family and a good family. Come on, somebody help me. Amen. We're wasting our time trying to build the house of God and trying to build something that God hasn't played his hand to. Listen, there's a lot of folks that have a lot of agendas. And I'm the pastor of this church. So it has to be the vision God gave me for this church to go forward. It can't be here vision, there vision, everywhere vision. We can't have double vision. I don't care what Foreigner says, it's a good song. Okay? Alright? Somebody like, Foreigner? Okay, never mind. Okay? We can't have double vision. We have to have one single vision. And I'm sorry, if you can't assimilate with us, then you may have to separate from us. Because the vision is we're going to win the world.
Amen.
From Seminole, Oklahoma, and I'm going to cut out a little niche of this country for us. Whatever we have to do, I'm going to do whatever God has called me to do because I'm going to affect my area with what I can affect it with. And I believe that we have to reach young people because I don't know about you, but in 15 years, how old are you going to be? Same conversation I had with this guy who told me I was 2 years behind.
Come on. Come on.
15 years, you're going to be 70 years old. Close. I'll be 65. And I don't know about you, but I don't plan on being the full-time pastor of a church at 85 years old. Not going to happen. I am going to go somewhere, and my kids are going to have to find us. Okay? I'm going to be gone somewhere and get a phone call. Where are y'all at? None of your business. What do you need? No, the grandkids can't come stay. Okay, that's not. I raised you, you raised yours. Okay, so here we go.
Amen.
Oh, that's because you don't have any grandkids yet. My mother didn't keep my kids. We drug them with us. Every anniversary. Honey, can I get a witness? We had friends that dropped us because we had kids. And I wouldn't leave them. Abby had to be there. And she still gets mad if we go eat and she's not there. And so, she's 20, almost 22. And she's still mad if I go to Chili's and they'll bring her something back. I don't know, it's great. So listen, I gotta hurry up. I gotta hurry up. We're wasting our time trying to build something that God didn't try to build. I get so distracted. Because there's a fire here, a fire there, here, a fire there, a fire, where, a fire. Hold me down, without a fire. And so there's fires everywhere. You got to put them out. But God is kind of refocusing me. When I say kind of, that means He is. Refocusing. To where not everybody's going to go with us. And that's okay. I'm going to love them anyway.
That's right. Oh.
I told my brother-in-law this, and there's not anything I wouldn't say if he was here. I would rather him be my brother-in-law and me see him at Thanksgiving or Christmas and love him than for him to go to church and me feel awkward.
Right.
I'd rather him go to church somewhere else if he doesn't want to be. He doesn't have to go to church because he's my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
I would rather be able to have him love me, and that's not have an awkward moment when I walk in because we go to church together. He's mad at me over something. He's not. I'm just telling you, I'd rather him not than come to church with us. I'd rather go to church somewhere than very good. Thank you. Our ways have to conform to his ways. Our agendas, our plans, our kingdoms will come to nothing without him. And I'm about done. I know I've preached a long time, I'm sorry. I find it interesting that God places children in the same scriptures as building the house and keeping the city. We always say that God gave us his best on the cross, his only begotten. I believe that. I believe that. We dedicate our children back to the Lord as giving God, and we're giving God our best because we're giving God our children. We find ourselves in a decline of young men and women to go into ministry because I believe this with all my heart. We find ourselves lacking in young pastors to fill pulpits of our previous generations, and I believe it's because we're not sitting down and training our young men and young women how to live for God. We're just going to church and we're leaving, and hopefully they were entertained and did their coloring sheet and had a flannel graph picture. Hopefully. In Matthew chapter 5, verse 23 to 24, and I'm almost done. Matthew chapter 5, verse 23 to 24. Don't get too impatient with me. I'm almost done. Therefore, if you bring your gift to the altar, and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift before the altar and go your way. First be reconciled to your brother, and then come and offer your gift.
Yeah.
Hang on. Wait a minute. If we believe that God gave us his only begotten Son, and that's the greatest gift, right? And we believe that we dedicate our children back to God and we're giving God our best back to him, then is it not true that maybe children are the gift that we need to give God? Yes, we need to give God ourselves, and don't be foolish and say, yes, we have to give ourselves to God. But hear me one more thing, I'm almost done. If it's the fact that our children are the most precious gift that God has given us, and other than salvation, it cannot be the gift that's the problem. It has to be the giver. Which means what? It means I have issues with some of my family and my brothers and sisters in Christ that I got to make right before God will accept my gift. You with me? Apologies must be made. Apologies have to be made before God will accept our gifts. We have to reconcile. Read that, put that back up there before we read it. Matthew 5, 23 and 24. We have to reconcile with each other. Go your way. First be reconciled with your brother, and then come offer your gift. Children are a gift.
Amen.
Our children, our ministry children. But it's hard for God to accept a gift because his word says he won't. If you have aught in your heart, or you find that you have something in your heart against your brother or your sister, it's hard for God to say, yes, I'll accept that gift when you have aught, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it. I don't know what it says in the New King James. In the King James it says ought. So we have to reconcile with each other before we can give God our best. Oh, you better hear me. How many want to give God your best? Oh, everybody wants to. Okay, that's great. Then you have to reconcile some things. Verse 23, Ethan. And then remember that your brother has something against you. Oh, I remember. Has something against me. You have to go reconcile that before you can give God your best. That's what the scripture says. That's not what I say. That's what scripture says. I have to make it right as best I can. This conversation may go this way. Hey, Abby, I just want to talk to you for a minute. You don't even know this, but I've been angry with you for 12 years. Yeah, you remember that thing that went down 12 years ago, 15 years ago? Remember that? And I got mad at you. And I want to apologize to you. I've carried it around. I'm tired of carrying it. Would you please forgive me? And it can go one of two ways. Abby can say, I'm not forgiving you. I don't even like you. Get away from me. Don't talk to me anymore. It can go that way. And you're off the hook as you try to reconcile it. And it's reconciled in your spirit. And you say, God, I left it. I've given it. I've reconciled it the best I can. Or it could go this way. You've really been mad at me for that long. I wondered why you wouldn't talk to me at Brahms, but I didn't know. You've really been mad at me that long? I saw you at Walmart and you went the other way. And I really wondered why. I thought you just didn't see me or it didn't matter. But I'm not mad at you. I'm very sorry if I ever hurt you. I'm very sorry. That's how most of the time it goes. Because most people aren't jerks. It goes that way, then you've gained your sister back. You've gained a family member of the church back. And you've reconciled it, and now you can give your best to God. Come on, help me. Come on. You see, when we move 3 miles north, a lot of the old baggage has to stay here, please.
Amen.
Amen.
Please. Please. The stuff that went down in this church 15 years ago, can we leave it here?
Amen.
Can we please? Pretty please with sugar on top? Can we leave it here? Can we not carry it with us? Can we reconcile it? Can we get ready? Because I want to give God my best. I want to give God what He deserves, and that's the best that I can give Him. And I want Him to accept my best, and He can't accept my best if I don't reconcile with you. Apologies have to be made. From top to bottom. From bottom to top. Apologies need to be made. We've got to reconcile some things. We've got to get some things under the blood of Jesus Christ, because I'm telling you, they'll keep you out of heaven, or whether you think they will or not, they'll keep you out of heaven. Those things that you carry, they'll keep you out. If they're not under the blood of Christ, they will keep you out, because they've begun to fester, and now they're rotting. Now they become a hindrance to you. Now they become hurtful to you. And now I've said something about it. Now you know you've got to do something about it. And then rebellion sets in because you don't want to do anything about it. And now you're performing witchcraft, because rebellion is at the center of witchcraft.
Yep.
You see how that goes deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper? And if all you have to simply do is go to somebody and say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I didn't do anything wrong. So, please forgive me. But they did it. I didn't do it. So, please forgive me. Because you've allowed that to come between you and God and the people of your church that you love. You've allowed that into your spirit. So yes, you have done something. Yes, you are guilty. Not of the offense, but you're guilty of not taking care of the offense and allowing that offense to rot your spirit. It's like cancer. If you don't deal with it, it'll kill you. You gotta deal with it. You gotta get cut out. You gotta get some chemo, get some spiritual chemo, some spiritual radiation. Let's get it going on. Amen?
Amen.
Amen? Everybody good? All right. Stand to your feet with me, please. Church, this is our moment. This is our time. Come on, man. I want you to be excited. This is our time. It's our time. It's our time.